Meeting is now standing.
He directs a lot, Judge, I know that.
All right, so we'll call the meeting to order. We'll note for the record that Commissioner Dominic has advised that he will not be able to attend. So we will commence. Will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and I think since last we met, I just want to note that Commissioner DeVilio's mom, and you have our condolences.
Thank you so much, Judge.
Okay.
Really appreciate that.
I said Commissioner DeVilio, that was a slip of the tongue.
I didn't even hear that.
I'll call to order, and assuming everybody's had an opportunity to review the minutes that were provided ahead of time by Tracy, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Tracy, have you received any requests to comment on any of the agenda items before we get into them?
No, I have not.
Okay. So we will move on to the items on the agenda. Item 20-2018, the current payables, and I assume everybody's had an opportunity to review those ahead of time. And if so, I'll entertain a motion to approve them.
So moved.
Second. Did I miss a second?
Second.
Okay. On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The motion is approved, and the current payables will be paid. Next, we'll go to Controller DeVilio's report. Mr. DeVilio?
Yes, Your Honor. The Controller's Office reviewed the prison inmate and canteen account reconciliations, which were prepared by the Prison Business Office for the month of April 2020, and found no discrepancies between the reconciliations and the bank statements. The balance in the inmate account was $376,693.95 as of April 30th of 2020. The balance in the canteen checking account was $416,700.70 as of April 30th. And in addition, as of April 30th, the canteen account owned 2 certificates of deposit, one valued at $15,000 and the other at $132,173.43, totaling $147,173.48. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Controller DeVilio? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve his report.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Note with some good cheer that Commissioner Chermak is here with us. Afternoon, Commissioner.
Good afternoon. Sorry, a little technical difficulties there.
All right. All right. Move on to the next item on the agenda, item 20-2021, the Community Corrections Center report. Mr. Jeffers? Got him. Mute, Brian, are you muted?
Brian,
Yeah, I yell at everybody for that, so it's about time I did it to myself. The Community Corrections Report for April 2020. Item 1, the program's totals. Male work release had 0 participants. Female work release had 0 participants. Adult house arrest had 203 participants, and juvenile house arrest had 6 participants. Item 2, our program's revenues for the month of April total $5,461.07. Item 3, the program's expenses for the month of April total $129,013.84. Item 4, the program's completions. House arrest had 42, work release had 0. Item 5, the program's violations. Work release had 0, house arrest had 4. Item 6, the program's outstanding warrants. Work release has 6, house arrest has 3. And item 7, the budget report. Overtime is at 49%. Expenses are at 30%, and revenue is at 20%. So the board and the chairman of the board understands. Clearly, work release was closed down at the end of April, at the end of March, and that's why you'll see the 0 numbers there. House arrest numbers are more than double the average that we have for the month. We have a standing count of about 160 to 170 per day in house arrest. That's why you'll see the revenues are lower and the zeros are zeroed out for work release there.
How are you managing?
They're managing very well. Actually, what we do is we have crews that are going out to the houses every day, and they randomly check. They take a grid, and they randomly check houses every day with the individuals that are in them. Drug testing is really we're above and beyond on the drug testing scenario because we're pretty much drug testing them every time we make contact with them. So our numbers, our financial numbers are going up for the drug testing program, but it's one way of keeping them in check as we're supposed to be doing. And you'll see how during the month of April, only 4 violations were in that time period. All 4 were for drug offenses. What's happening, Your Honor, is that we contact the judge that's assigned to that particular case, whoever the sentencing judge is, and their staff, and we get these individuals into rehab as fast as we can. We go through the probation department and the particular clerk that the judge's clerk, and we try to get them in the rehab as fast as they can. So some of the violations are going back to prison, the 4 of them for serious offenses, and the other ones are going through rehabs as they potentially can, as fast as they can.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Jeffers, who's wearing several hats these days?
It's really trial by fire with this, Your Honor, but it's working out, I think, for the best. It really is. Most of the participants, a vast majority of the participants are playing by the rules and following the rules.
Okay.
Good there.
So if what do you think the budget would be like? I'm just asking you to guess if we were not in this pandemic and you were still dealing with work release as well as house arrest. Do you think the numbers would be terribly different?
Well, the numbers for work release have always been kind of the same, Your Honor. For the last couple of years, we've had, like, on average about 30 men and 3 to 4 women on average for the month. So I think the reason the house arrest numbers are so high, let's just say for the sake of argument that our regular period of time for a month, we had maybe 90 people on house arrest. If we took all of work release and moved it over, you'd be at 125. We're obviously, well above that. What we're seeing is any individual that could have went to jail, basically, on a parole violation or a bail, anything like that, is coming to us, and it's working out very well. I mean,
Why it's more expensive than it was, and your revenues are down. It's cheaper than having them in jail, though.
That is correct. Give me 1 second here. I'm trying to look. We had to bring in more bracelets. So, the contract called for we pay the contractor a little bit over $8,821 a month for basically 100 bracelets. So now we're getting billed at $3.06 a day for the extra bracelets. So, you know, the combination there is about $15,000 per month, which is, you know, double the amount that we were paying. However, the $7,000 extra per month is drastically lower than what it would cost for the taxpayers to pay for someone in prison. I mean, Tim can attest to the price of what the average amount could be in prison. It's somewhere between $55 and $65 per day per person. So if you're taking our numbers and you're looking at the 125 that were, let's say, on the program March 16th, let's just say they're still there today, and we're at 170, the other almost 50 individuals that are on the program would be costing us about $55 a day in prison instead of $3 a day on the bracelet. And these bracelets are the GPS bracelets. So if we want to constantly watch them, we can. If we want to go back in time and see what their travels were when they come for report-ins, which they're not doing now, we're doing by phone. So they're going through the report-ins with these individuals by phone, talking about where they've been and where they should have been. And for, like I said, for the most part, not the vast majority of them are following the rules.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Jeffers?
Nope.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve his report.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Jeffers. We'll move on to the warden's report. Warden Betty.
Good afternoon, board. The average daily population for April 2020 was 490 inmates, 334 were county inmates. As of May 11th, we had 471 inmates, 422 were adult males, 48 were adult females, and 1 juvenile male. The population of the U.S. Marshal Service detainees on 5/11 was 154. The overtime and out-of-county boarding have already been submitted. Staffing update, officers on shift is 176 full-time and 7 part-time. Out on workers' comp, we have 2. On continuous FMLA, 1. Administrative leave, 1. And 0 vacancies. Grand total is 180 full-time officers, 13 part-time officers. FMLA, 1 officer is on continuous FMLA and 39 officers have intermittent FMLA. That accounts for approximately 22% of the correctional officers. The budget as of April 30th, 2020, revenue was at 13%, expenses were at 34%. Inmates at or past their minimum dates, 10. We have 3 with no home plans, 1 with a home plan submitted awaiting approval, 2 who are awaiting placement into rehabs, and 4 who've been remanded for the balance of their sentences. Extraordinary occurrence reports. There were 2 extraordinary occurrences since the last prison board meeting. On 4/28, a county inmate was attempting to harm herself. She was placed into the restraint chair for her own safety. And on 5/14, an intoxicated county inmate was committed and she was refusing to comply with intake procedures. Additionally, she expressed suicidal ideations and she was placed in the restraint chair for her safety. PREA, there was 1 PREA investigation completed the month of April. It was an allegation of inmate on inmate sexual misconduct. The complaint has been deemed unsubstantiated and the completed PREA investigation has been forwarded to the DA's office. And this concludes my report.
How's the virus situation? Still the same?
We have 0 staff and 0 inmates who have COVID-19, best of my knowledge. We don't have any symptomatic individuals at all.
With that many less inmates, Warden, does it seem possible that we could reduce the number of COs to adjust accordingly to conceivably save the county and the prison some money?
Well, Commissioner, I would take a look at that. And the reason I say that is I do have our inmate population intentionally spread out right now so that I can do as much single selling as possible. I was anticipating the possibility of the virus entering our facility. It has not done that. And so what you're saying there is something I could certainly take a look at.
I would appreciate that.
Anybody else, questions or comments for the warden? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the warden's report.
So moved.
A move and a second
Second.
on the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The warden's report, excuse me, is approved. Tracy, any inquiries from the public to address the board?
No, we have not.
Okay, all right. So we'll move on to any other business from any of the members.
Judge, I have something. At the last meeting, you asked me about the prison canteen account CDs.
Yeah.
And what the rates might be.
Yes.
So I looked into that over the course of the last couple of weeks. As my controller report said, we have 2 canteen account CDs. They are both with FNCB Bank. The larger one is $132,173.48.
Right.
That is a 90-day CD that expires June the 18th. We're earning 0.10% on that. Now, I want to mention that CD rates have really come down over the last several months. So that's 0.10 for the $132,000 account. The other account is also with FNCB, the other CD, that's $15,000. That doesn't mature until December 3rd of 2020. The interest rate is higher on that one because that is a 1-year CD, and that's 0.50. So I would anticipate that that's going to come down pretty much come December, but we don't know for sure. But we also have, as I mentioned, $416,000 in the canteen checking account, and that's earning 0 interest.
I don't know if there's a checking account out there that gives you any interest.
Right, that may be the case. So what we did is we looked at several local banks to get rates, and the rates are all very low, all under 0.5%. But we also talked with the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust people, and John Grisenda, who's at the county treasurer's office, said that all of our county money is pretty much with PLGIT, as it's called, Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust. If we move the money there come June 18th, we can earn 0.62% with them, 0.62, and have total liquidity because that money isn't tied to a certain time frame. So we can take money, put money in there and take money out of there pretty much anytime we want, almost like a checking account. So we found that to be the best rate available and also with the highest liquidity available. FNCB told us that if we didn't change the time frame of the 90-day current CD, that they really can't do any better than the 0.10. If we extended the time frame to say a 1-year period, we can get a little better rate, but it still isn't as high as the 0.62 with the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust. I have Reggie Mariani, my chief internal auditor, sitting here next to me. I just want to ask him a quick question. Reggie, can you come in? Do you remember what the rate was with what the rates were with the other local banks that we talked to?
Citizens had an 11-month CD at 0.5%.
Citizens 11-month 0.5%.
People's Security had a 12-month at 0.45%. And these were as of 5/15. And, you know, these rates are flexible. They go up and down daily.
Now, I wasn't able to touch base with the representative at FNCB. We've missed each other on a couple different occasions. She called me twice and I called her a couple times. And but that's the message she left me, that if we want a better rate, we'd have to extend the term out. Of course, if we took money from that CD early, we would forfeit some or all of the interest. But the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust was an interesting interest rate of 0.62 with total liquidity. By the way, Reggie Mariani said that we can take, really, if we'd like to, most of that checking account money and move that with 100 and put that with 132,000 and put somewhere else. Because if we kept, in Reggie's opinion, about $100,000 in that checking account, we probably would be perfectly fine, especially if we're with an account that we have liquidity from, that we can move money back into the checking when we'd like to. This is something that over the course of my term in office, which is a little over 8 years, that we've discussed a couple of times, but nothing really has come of those discussions. And that's why I'm glad you brought it up again last month, Judge.
So are you saying that the county's general fund is in this Pennsylvania local government investment?
Yes, according to John Grisenda, that's where most of the money is these days.
Okay.
Is that correct, Rich?
Yes, that's correct.
Reggie can verify that.
Gary, do you know, are they insured accounts or not insured?
Are they insured?
Yes, yes, they're fully insured. That's another
Would that be with Pliget?
would play it.
Well,
They're
all of
government-
them, I guess, are insured, especially, including, I should say, the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust account.
Do we know by whom that particular Pennsylvania account is insured? Are they subject to the regulation?
Did you move in a little bit? Yeah, Reggie's telling me that the state of Pennsylvania is insuring that Pennsylvania account.
That's what I thought.
Is
Yeah.
that correct, Reggie?
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? So if we're going to do something with this one that matures on June 18, what's the deadline that we need to do something with it by, Gary?
Well, I guess by June 18th, but someone said that we would also get at least a week or two extension beyond that date.
10 days.
10 days to make a change if we'd like to. If we choose to do that, another situation is that the current signers for those CDs are the warden, I'm sorry, former warden, Robert McMillan. His name is down as a signer for the existing CD, along with Deputy Warden Dave Langen. So Dave is the only one that can really make the switch for us at this point in time. It may be a good idea to get Ed Karpovich as treasurer to be a signer for that account. Another something that we've discussed previously.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, if we do that, as opposed to naming individuals, we should conceivably name the office, county treasurer, county warden, county deputy warden, however you want to go about doing it. But as opposed to, you know, Ed Karpovich, in case Ed decides he's not going to run. If we were to change something of our rules, Dave, you could probably answer that so that we could, you know, not have to deal with something like this.
Yeah, maybe we weren't clear about it, but I believe the warden is signing in his capacity as the warden. It should flow with the position, not the individual.
Okay.
We could certainly talk to any of the local banks, and including Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust, about that.
Okay.
Yeah, does the signature include the title, Gary? Or just his signature?
I'm not certain. Is the
You know,
title
I think
included
when
on the
we do
signature?
it, we should sign as with the title. So it would sign Timothy Betty as
Yeah.
warden of Lackawanna County going forward.
Reggie is saying that right now it's the individual's names.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would think the bank's probably going to require that the signature be specific. So just check with the bank. I don't know if you could do it per office. It may be that when the office holder changes, that the signature card may need to be changed, but just check with them.
Okay.
Yeah, we had talked about that before when McMillan was still here. I thought they were doing that, but you know, maybe with the signature, if it includes the title next to it, it will at least make some effort to make it clear it's in the role, not the individual, even though it's their signature.
Yeah, we can do that, and I can report back to you.
Yeah, and I mean, if we have to get around to changing the signature cards every time the office holder changes, then that's what we'll have to do. But if we can make it just specific to the office instead of the office holder, try and see if we can do that too.
I could find that answer out and email all of you as soon as I find out within the next several days.
And see, you know, what kind of specifics they can give us, if you would please, Gary, from FNCB. You know, they said we can give you a better rate if you go for a longer time. Well, what specifically are they talking about?
I'll find out what that higher rate would be. Okay, I will.
In the meantime, Tim, just be very, very nice to Dave Lang and keep your eye. So
Certainly.
Now, I'm not sure if we're going to meet again before June the 18th, in case we wanted to do anything with that account. It would
Next
renew
meeting's
itself
June.
for another, well, we might have the extension for 10 days afterwards, so hopefully
Tracy,
we'd be
Our
okay
next-
with that.
17th.
Yeah, our next meeting's June 17th.
Oh, okay, good.
But if I understand correctly, it's a matter of not renewing that as opposed to having to make the investment by June 18th or so. So it sounds from the rate you're suggesting that a move would be in our best interest. Which move may need some further research, but it doesn't sound at this stage we'd want to continue on the path we're on at a lower interest rate when we can have an unencumbered, liquid-free, higher interest rate with the trust fund.
It certainly looks that way.
if it's secure and properly.
Yes. I could confirm the guarantee situation and get more specifics on the FNCB rates for a longer term, and report to you via email exactly what those rates are. And if we'd like to make a change, we could actually do it at our next meeting, I suppose.
Okay. All right, that'd be great. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate your work.
No problem.
Any other business from, new business from any of the members? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Have we gotten anything in the meantime, Tracy, from anybody in the public?
Let me look. No.
Okay, all right. Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second,
Second.
Second.
on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great day, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Tracy.